Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be planting some peonies. I just got these in the mail and it's getting pretty cold outside, so we need to get these in the ground as soon as possible. If you don't know already, I am starting a cut flower garden next year. I have a bed that is going to be for perennials, for my peonies, roses, things like that. And then I'm going to be building a very large garden for all of my annuals. Now, this bed right here was my melon bed. I also had some sweet potatoes and things like that in it this summer. And for the fall garden, I wasn't able to get in a whole lot. I was just too busy. So I do have a few broccoli and Brussels sprouts randomly in this bed, but this is where I want to put the perennials, because over here is where my annual cut flower garden is going to be. So I want to try to keep all of the perennials in this bed at this back end. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to go just on either side of these broccoli for these peonies. Before we get started, I want to show you a couple examples of some peonies that I have here. Let's see here. All right. So we've got here one Bareroot peony. As you can see, it has several eyes on it, which are those little pink things, and a huge root. Now, I got these from Eden Brothers. And then I want to show you a very sad excuse for a Bareroot peony. Which is what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to have 2 to 3 eyes, and as you can see, it only has one. There's hardly any roots. And same for this one. Now, before I let you know where I got these from, I am going to email the company and see if they make it right, because it does look as if some of them broke, because there was only supposed to be 5 and there was I think 7. So I'm thinking that a couple of them broke in half, but either way that would still mean 3 of them only had 1 eye apiece. And I mean, look at this. I mean, there's no root. Something you want to make sure you do when you're planting your peonies is you want to cover them with just about 2 inches of soil above the little eyes. They say if like one eye is a lot higher than the other, then to just go off the tallest eye. So for example, if I put this in the ground like this, I would make sure this one has 2 inches worth of soil above it. Now, like I said, the ones from Eden Brothers are a lot larger. So what I've decided to do is plant those on the left side of the garden and plant the other ones on the right side. And I'm interested to see how the growth is, dependent on how much root they had and how many eyes they had. Now back here, this is the back of our property, and it kind of slants down. It's not like a really sharp angle that it slants into, but it does slant a little bit. So there's quite a bit of compost at this end of the garden than there is the rest of it. I would say about 8 inches deep down at this end, but the rest of the garden isn't like that. But because there is so much, I don't need to add anything. We do have clay soil, so if I was planting directly into my clay, then I would add a little bit of something to kind of help with the drainage and things like that. I'm also going to be planting these about 2.5 feet apart, and I want to try to get it as accurate as possible. So we're gonna go about right here with the first one. All right, guys, so we got our first one in the ground, and as you can see, it got dark extremely quickly. So we're gonna finish this tomorrow. I actually planted a couple more last night. I just didn't film it. So this is actually our 4th peony, and we're gonna add some nice hot coffee. Just kidding. This is just some worm castings. Although coffee grounds is something that is good to add as well. And then here is our beautiful Bareroot peony. And then I also have this one here, which I noticed has a lot of little eyes on it. And then this piece here is almost breaking off, and it has like 2. And I was thinking about separating these and trying to get one more peony, but I'm not sure if that would just make each one of these take longer to produce. I don't know what to do. Let's ponder on it and plant this other one. I realized last night that I didn't go deep enough, and I ended up having to mound the soil up quite a bit, which is I plan on adding more compost to this entire bed anyways, but I would have rather not have had to have mounded up quite that much. But oh well. I mean, with our clay soil and our really wet springs, it's probably best that I did it that way. Add our worm castings. I want to add a little bit of the compost down here before adding the really clay soil, so that since the clay doesn't have the best drainage, it will hopefully help with that a little bit, to where when we have storms, they will hopefully, not be sitting in too much water. And when your back hurts, just use your feet. All right, guys, so there is the next 2 peonies. Recommend it. Probably get creeping. All right, guys, so I've got them all in the ground. I just wanted to show you really quickly what it is looking like. We have 7 on the left from Eden Brothers. The last 2, though, were pieces that broke off the other 5. And then we have 6 on this side, but 2 of them actually were pieces that broke off. So really, I was technically only sent 4 good, peony bare roots. The other one had like no roots on it, and all of them only had 1 or 2 eyes. None of them had 3, and they were supposed to be 2 to 3 eye roots. But anyways, so I'm going to get that covered up with grass clippings. I also had my neighbor give me some iris rhizomes. I've never planted them. I'm hoping that I did it correctly. So we've got 3 good ones and then 1 small piece, and that's the same thing that I did with the peonies. I planted the really good looking ones, the ones with the most eyes on them, at the far end, and then the smaller ones coming down this way, just as an experiment to see if, you know, the plants are stronger the more eyes they have, or what. All right, so this is what it is looking like now that we have everything covered up with the grass clippings. But that's going to be it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it or if you learned anything, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. It lets YouTube know people are enjoying my content, and then they will show it to more people. Speaking of showing it to more people, you could also go ahead and share the video on your social medias. But other than that, that's it. Thanks, and I will talk to you in the next one.